Hello, my name is Jake Marshall, and this is my Entomology 320 project. My research question is how are worker bees affected when temperature in a hive changes? I chose this because I think that it is very easily controlled and can help bees survive, which is something that I'm very worried about. So, an introduction is if you don't know, the correct terminology for a honeybee is Apis mellifera. They are cold-blooded, which is again another reason why I think that temperature is a great thing to be looking at, because temperature temperature is known to affect cold-blooded animals more than hot-blooded animals, because we're able to more adequately regulate our own bodies, unlike cold-blooded animals. So I wanted to see what changes or negative things could be observed when temperature changes. So I thought that it would mainly be lower temperatures that would negatively impact bees. But going through, I was surprised to find there's also warmer temperatures that impact bees. So the four ways that I know, or I'm going to go over, is ovarian development, quality of life, how the hive works, and strangely enough, resistance to Nosema serene. Serene, I believe that's how it's pronounced. All these I think are very important. So first off, ovarian development. Overall, as temperature decreases, it's shown that development of ovaries gets slower and not as good or well, I guess. And this is important, especially in winter months, as I'll go on to describe later, because of a certain thing that bees like to do. They need a lot of a lot of bees in the hive in order to adequately survive through the winter. So this, along with the other thing that I will mention later, is a big problem and one of the reasons that bees die off in the winter. Another reason that bees die off in the winter is that as it gets colder and colder, they will not go outside the nest. They're, again, sorry, one more slide hinting towards it. They're busy doing something else. And the thing that surprised me, though, was that at hotter temperatures, such as 35 degrees, they just will no longer fly due to energy being too great to expend. And at extremely low temperatures, they won't be able to move at all. They'll be essentially frozen. And this is a big build-up. This is what it's been working towards, is that clustering is a big thing that helps bees survive through the winter. They'll contract and expand in their cluster, in order to regulate their own temperature. Because again, being cold-blooded, they don't have any natural ways of doing this, so they do it via cluster. The image that I have there is not clustering in the actual hive. They do it for multiple other reasons, but the reason that I'm talking about it is because they do it in the winter in order to keep warm. So that is why I have the picture there with the nice little red arrow. And in order to do so, they need a lot of bees. So going back, that's why problems with ovarian development as it gets colder is just kind of like a 1-2 punch of they may not have enough bees to cluster. And finally, the thing that I found the most interesting is that as it gets warmer, as temperature increases, spore count will go down for Nosema serene. If you don't know what Nosema serene is, it's a microsporidian that will impact and oftentimes just kill bees. So, among other things, pesticides and blah blah, this is one of the main factors leading to bees' decline and possible extinction. So, finding out that warmer temperatures allow bees to survive more from this due to lower spore counts is a very important thing, because temperature is one of the most easily controlled variables, especially if you're a beekeeper or something like that. So if you're looking for a way to help bees, having an increase in temperature may actually be one of the best things you can do for them. Now again, going over everything, why, or how to save bees, why should you save bees, what's the point of all this, why should you care about what's happening with bees, other than just, they're a species and you should have basic, kindness. Bees are very, very important. Their presence for pollination, maybe worldwide, is very important, but even especially going local pollination networks, they're involved in roughly 88% of pollination networks locally. If you had anything local and anything like that, it was most likely pollinated by a bee. And again, as mentioned before, they're already on a decline, so anything that we can do to help them would be a great, great thing to do. So I would never want to see a species go extinct, other than maybe like geese. Maybe if I learn more about geese as well, I wouldn't, but bees, no matter how often we see them as scary, are a very, very important thing for our society due to pollination networks and everything that they offer for us. So I think that it's really important that we keep them alive, and these are ways of helping. So again, in conclusion, temperature changes are one of the easiest things that you can help change for bees, and they have impacts in many, many ways, either by increasing or decreasing the temperature. They're affected by it, and I think it's one of the easiest ways for people to potentially help with the declining population, because it is a very easy thing to control, and as mentioned before, it affects them in many ways. The main one that I think is the most important is development of Nosema ceranae, because again, it is a big, big problem.